Good evening, everybody. I am Mrs. Rani, Assistant Professor of Home Science, Sri Sharda College for Women, Salem 16. Today, we are going to see the nutrition in adolescence. Let us see the introduction. The period of transition from childhood to adulthood is called adolescence, with accelerated physical, biochemical, and emotional development. Adolescence is a crucial period for growth and development. It is the time between the onset of puberty and adulthood, that is 13 to 18 years old. It is during this period that the final growth spurt occurs with an increase in height and weight. The growth spurt of boys is lower than that of girls. Growth velocity is maximum for boys between 12 to 15 years and for girls 10 to 30. Growth through adolescence is hormone driven. Considerable gain in muscle and bone mass also occur. So, proper nutrition is essential for physical, mental, and emotional well-being. Unhealthy eating habits can lead to long-term health issues. They attain their adult stature between 18 to 20 years, but the bone mass continues to increase up to the age of 25. With the profound growth of adolescence, there is increased demands for energy, protein, minerals, and vitamins. Let us see the importance of a balanced diet. A balanced diet includes all essential nutrients which promotes strong immunity and prevent diseases. And also it supports cognitive function and academic performance of the adolescents. It also helps in maintaining a healthy. Now we can see the nutritional needs during adolescence. First, we can see the macronutrient requirements. The macronutrients are carbohydrates, proteins, and fats. Coming to carbohydrates, they provide the energy for growth and development. The recommended intake is 45 to 65% of total daily calories. The sources of carbohydrates are whole grains, fruits, vegetables, legumes, low-fat dairy products. Complex carbohydrates is recommended for the adolescents. Coming to the protein needs, the protein needs represent 11 to 12% of energy intake. The protein intake usually exceeds 1 gram per kg body weight. This meets growth needs and for the pubertal changes in both sexes for the developing muscle mass in boys. Both for boys and girls, peak requirement of protein coincides with peak energy needs. In rapidly growing adolescents, metabolism is sensitive to calorie restriction. That is, in the event of inadequate energy intake, protein is used for energy needs, resulting in malnutrition. The main source of proteins are lean meats, poultry, fish, eggs, dairy products, legumes, nuts, and let us see about the fat requirement. That for the total fat intake below 25% of energy is considered to affect the growth in children and adolescents. The fats provide energy, supports the brain function, and aid in the absorption of vitamins, especially fat-soluble vitamins. Foods low in fat, that is saturated fat and trans fat, should be emphasized in meal planning. The desirable level of visible fat intake for adolescents is 35 to 50 grams per day. The sources of fats are healthy fats, that is monosaturated and polysaturated fats, and fats from nuts, seeds, avocados, and olive oil are recommended. Coming to the micronutrients, let us see about the vitamins. Vitamin A, which is essential for vision, immune function and skin health. The expert committee recommended a daily intake of 860 to 1000 micrograms of retinol in adolescents will improve all the functions which is above mentioned. Sources of vitamin A are sweet potato, carrots, dark leafy vegetables, liver, eggs, dairy products, etc. Vitamin D, which is crucial for bone health and immune function. The recommended intake is 600 to 800 international units per day. The sources of vitamin D are fatty fish, fortified dairy products and sunlight exposure. Skeletal growth requires vitamin D, while the structural and functional integrity of newly formed cells, and it depends on the availability of the vitamins like vitamin A, C and let us see about the B complex vitamins. The need for thiamine, riboflavin and niacin increases directly with the increased calorie intake. Tissue growth involves amino acid metabolism, particularly transamination to synthesize non-essential amino acids. So, the requirement for B is increased. Premenstrual tension can be reduced if adolescent girls consume vitamin B 100 milligrams per day. Folacin and B are essential. B6 are essential for DNA synthesis and needed in higher amounts when the tissue synthesis is occurring rapidly. The neurological symptoms of B deficiency include depression, confusion, cognitive decline and dementia. For all adolescents, 2.2 microgram vitamin B have been prescribed. Let us see the minerals. Calcium, which is essential for bone growth and development. During adolescence, 1000 to 1050 milligram of calcium and 1000 to 1050 milligram of phosphorus per day is needed. Bone growth demands calcium. About 150 milligram of calcium must be retained every day to allow for the increase in bone mass. Adolescents who have less bone mineral density are susceptible for osteoporosis later in their life. So, elemental calcium and the phosphorus ratio should be 1:1 and it should be maintained throughout the adolescent period. The importance of adolescence and bone health, that is, the calcium and vitamin D are the primary nutrients which is required for the bone health, and other nutrients such as protein, zinc, magnesium and phosphorus also play an important role. Vitamin C and vitamin K are also needed for the health of the bones. The main source of calcium are dairy products, leafy vegetables, fortified plant-based milk, beans, nuts, etc. Water. Adequate hydration is essential for adolescents to maintain focus, energy and overall health. Adolescents usually drink less water. Low water intake may be due to frequent consumption of snacks and soda while watching TV or movies. The best way of meeting the recommended water is drinking plain water, or they can take 100% of fruit juice without the addition of sugar, and buttermilk and milk should also be encouraged to have among the adolescents. Next, we can move on to the food requirements. Physical and psychological pressures influence adolescents' eating habits. Boys fare better than girls in that his large appetite and sheer volume of food leads him to consume adequate nutrients. The adolescent girl may gain weight easily due to her physiologic sex differences associated with fat deposits during this period, and comparatively they also due to lack of physical activity. Social pressures and personal tensions concerning figure control may make her follow unwise self-imposed crash diets for weight. Self-starvation may result in complex and far-reaching eating disorders like anorexia nervosa and bulimia nervosa. Teenagers have the reputation of having the worst eating habits. They may skip a meal, particularly breakfast. There are more skippers among girls than boys. Those who take breakfast may consume foods which are nutritionally inadequate. Eating patterns of adolescents are characterized by an increased tendency to skip meals, enjoying meals outside the home, frequent snacking, heavy reliance on convenience foods, dieting, vegan or vegetarian diets, fad diets, and frequent changes in eating habits. They may eat fast foods which are generally inadequate in calcium and vitamin A but high in calories, saturated fat, and sodium. So, to overcome this, we have to follow the dietary guidelines. So, diet in adolescence is very significant because it influences the nutrition status later in life. Adequate, well-balanced, nutritious food should be taken to prevent obesity or undernutrition. An adolescent girl should take enough calcium-rich foods in her diet to increase the bone density. This will help in delaying the onset of osteoporosis. No meal of the day should be missed, as adolescence represent as a period of active life. Junk food should be avoided. Food should be colorful and attractive. Empty calorie food such as carbonated beverages should be iron-rich foods like non-vegetarian foods and green leafy vegetables may be included in their daily diet to prevent anemia. Calorie and protein-rich foods should be taken to support the growth spurt. Inclusion of fruits and vegetables in their diet meet the vitamins and minerals and fiber requirement. Eating habits should be independent of emotions. Adolescents need to be encouraged to do physical activity, particularly outdoor games. Physical activity regulates their appetite. This is my plate for the day, which is recommended by the ICMR and NIN, which includes the macronutrients and micronutrients from a minimum of 8 food groups with vegetables, fruits, green leafy vegetables, roots and tubers, which forming essentially half the plate. These are the references which I have referred. Thank you.